Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Fairleigh Project, how the heck are you? This is going to be an awesome podcast. I have a lot to share with you today in reference to the Babylon workings, the mass influx of UFO sightings from 1947 to about 1969, especially 1947. I just have to hit the pause button here real quick. Otherwise, we're going to get an echo being here. It's always nicer to have an audience to discuss this with. And I am excited to see what you guys have to say. So I don't know if I'm even connected right now. I certainly hope so. Check out this title alone: Contacting the Ancient Ones and Opening a Portal in the Space-Time Continuum. Aleister Crowley's LAM and Little Gray Men. This is the connection linking the swath of UFO sightings that started in 1947. I'm going to share with you Freedom of Information Act documents that have been declassified that discuss the plethora of sightings of UFOs that started in 1947, literally 6 months after the Babylon workings. The Babylon was involved, but there were others. And also, if I take you back to 1918, well, before we go there, check this out. This is going to get exciting. The year 1947 has an amazing correspondence in itself, and that has to do with a major grid point that has been found to exist on the planet Mars. It was discovered that Cydonia, not Sedona, Arizona, but Cydonia, there are similarities there. Cydonia, Mars, discovered via Viking orbiter satellite, what looked like city of ruins, pyramids, that if you take sacred geometry and if you take the location, this is where it gets very synchronistic. Cydonia, the region of Mars that houses the face and the pyramids, that giant face, rests at 19.47 degrees from the equator. 19.47 degrees from the equator. The same can be said for the whirling red spot on Jupiter and a similar area found on Neptune. Now, on our planet Earth, pyramids are at the exact 19.47 degree north of the equator on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. And according to this article, this person's also been informed by someone who recently visited the island of Hawaii that pyramids have been found covered in jungle vegetation at 19.47 degrees north of the equator as well. Read all about it. The paleoecologist.net. I'll leave the link in the video description box. If you get into the OTO, a offshoot called the Cult of LAM, which is the entity that looks very similar to a gray. Let me share this picture with you real quick. Will you just look at it? Wait a second. Are we looking at the right thing here? Let me make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah. Okay. So that is LAM to the right, and to the left is your Hollywood gray. Here we go. Check this out. I think I was sharing the wrong screen with you guys. This is the actual dollar bill that has been folded. And if you fold this dollar bill, it looks very similar to LAM. It looks eerily similar to LAM, to a gray. Okay. Have you guys ever seen this trick before? Now I'm going to share with you the article. Got a new screen that I want to share with you guys. Here we go. Bingo. This is the Freedom of Information Act document that was sent to the FBI. This discusses what a professor with several degrees wanted to explain about the phenomena of these discs, these giant flying discs from 1947 onward. He's told their mission is peaceful, and now visitors contemplate settling on this planet. These visitors are human-like, but much larger. And they're not from the Earth, but are from their own world. They do not come from a planet that we look at as a physical planet, but from an etheric planet, which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. The bodies of the visitors and the craft also can materialize when entering the vibratory state of our realm in physical matter. Now, this is very interesting because I've had guests on the show that have said very similar things. I've had guests. Wait a second. Are we getting bad audio? Bad lag? We are, aren't we? This is getting nasty, isn't it? Okay, hold on a second. Let me try something out. I'm going to hit slow chat. I don't think that's the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. We're having some technical difficulties right now. I just hit slow chat. Maybe that'll help out a little bit. Looks like the audio is clear. We're just having a lag now. How are things now, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, how is the audio? Are we good? It's okay. Boing. All right. Jedi mind skills not working according to Niz. Yes, Niz, you are correct. The Jedi mind skills. I'm telling you, the gremlins come out when you start talking about some really good stuff. I mean, think about it. I have already connected the dots of Aleister Crowley, the Babylon working, Parsons and Hubbard. And let's go back to 1918. If we go back to 1918, the ritualistic magic spells that were done via Crowley and his associates that were part of this ritual, or these rituals, almost 100 years ago, documentation of these workings, the information that was corresponded with Crowley and others that were part of these rituals, the times, the dates, and everything. And what's interesting is it was from January to March of 1918. So we're coming up to the 100-year anniversary in just a couple months. And also, if you look at the time of the Babylon workings, and I've also got the documentation on the Babylon workings, where Parsons wanted to bring into physical flesh the new basically in the Bible, what's referred to as the Whore of Babylon. And they looked at the Whore of Babylon as actually being a savior and the new age of Horus. And those that looked at the Whore of Babylon as the Whore of Babylon were actually just because they were part of the old age of Osiris. And then you can link to the Sumerians and Syria. We can get to the connect at the similarities. When you look at the similarities of LAM and an extraterrestrial that we would see as the gray, and then what is described here in this document. Let's go to page 22 here. The heck? Okay, here we go. Page 22. This one right here. Part of the discs carry crews, others are under remote control. Their mission is peaceful. And also in this document, it's discussed how if any planes try and attack the actual disc, that they'll be destroyed because they're far superior than the craft we have here. It talks about how they come from another planet, but it's not a physical planet, it's another dimension. So my question is, did the Babylon workings create this portal that allowed these discs, these beings to come through? Now, it was also after Crowley died. And there's speculation, there's actually a lot of people that feel that Crowley, that connected to LAM, Crowley is actually working through these specific discs. That he's actually working through these discs and these UFOs. That's how he's permeating himself through these discs. It's very bizarre. Also, if you know much about LAM, let me read this here real quick. The OTO and the cult of LAM, the main point of LAM is that Crowley was contacting an extraterrestrial entity who had links to almost every aspect that has been studied. The idea that Crowley continued to function in some aspect of LAM after his death in 1947 is a possibility, especially when you consider that is the year when the rash of UFO sightings began. Then you could read about the Book of Babylon. You could read about the actual rituals. I'll leave the link in the video description box. The Emelantra workings was the beginning of this portal opening, according to many. LAM, according to Kenneth Grant, LAM, the gray archetype, is known to be a link between the star systems of Sirius and Andromeda. LAM is the gateway to the void. The number 71 is that of no thing, an apparition. LAM as a great old one, whose archetype is recognizable in accounts of UFO occupants. LAM has been invoked to fulfill the work set afoot by Iowas. Iowas is Crowley's guardian angel, and also Crowley says that Iowas, according to Christians, would be referred to as the devil, as Satan, as a reflex of Iowas. LAM is the transmitter of all of the vibration of La via Ma, the key of the eon of Ma'at. Now, if you know who Ma'at is referenced in the Egyptian pantheon, Ma'at is the counterpart to Thoth, the feminine aspect, the bringer of balance. LAM is the occult energy beaming the vibrations of Ma'at and may proceed from the future eon. This is according to Kenneth Grant. Now, I'm not agreeing with any of this. This is just according to the research that I've done. What I do find fascinating is the connections with the 19.47 degrees, the connections of Sidonia, the pyramids, and then it talks about the lion people being here previous to our current form of human being. You look at the pharaoh, not the pharaoh, you look at the, not the pyramids, the Sphinx. You look at the Sphinx, and the Sphinx has the lion body, but the human head. Some people have talked about how there was actually a lion head there before. You can look at archaeology and artifacts 40, 50, 60,000 years old of these lion beings and lion statues that I've shared with you guys before. So I find that to be very, very interesting. Now, my question is, these discs, these flying saucers that started to come out in 1947 that really started to make themselves known. I mean, I think they were previous to that. You can look at ancient not ancient, but Renaissance paintings and drawings and images of these drawings that show flying saucers and UFOs over people that are praying to go back into the 1300s. They have cave paintings of UFOs. So it's not like they just came out at that time, but there was a large increase at that time. Did it have something to do with the nuclear testing that was going on as well? So the cult of LAM, and then these beings that are described in these Freedom of Information Act documents, I find to be very interesting. I also find it very interesting that if you go to, let me share this with you guys real quick. Let me make sure that, how's the audio going? Are we doing okay here, or is it still, we still having issues? Let me check the standby. Yeah, it looks like it's getting rusty again. We're having more problems. Oh my goodness, this is pissing me off. All right, well, this is what happens when you talk about something good. Everything gets fuzzy. The internet sucks. Going to be many people that are going to listen to my fuzzy lips. This is ridiculous. Question everything. Thank you for being here. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I've got the best internet you can get, supposedly, according to these donkeys. This is supposed to be the fastest internet you can get, yet it still doesn't work when I talk about something that could be very important. So I'll share it with you later. UFO sightings that started in 1947. I'm going to share with you Freedom of Information Act documents that have been declassified that discuss the plethora of sightings of UFOs that started in 1947, literally 6 months after. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear League Project, how the heck are you? This is going to be an awesome podcast. I have a lot to share with you today in reference to the Babylon workings, the mass influx of UFO sightings from contacting the ancient ones and opening a portal in the space-time continuum. Aleister Crowley's LAM and Little Gray Men. This is the connection linking the swath of, and I am excited to see what you guys have to say. So I don't know if I'm even connected right now. I certainly hope so. Check out this title alone. 1947 to about 1969, especially 1947. I just have to hit the pause button here real quick. Otherwise, we're going to get an echo being here. It's always nicer to have an audience to discuss this with.